Well, it's hard to call any car company a real success story these days, but you might be able to make a case for Ford. In 2006, after a devastating year, the company laid off 30,000 workers, and Henry Ford's great-grandson, William Ford Jr., stepped aside, brought in Alan Mulally to turn things around. Mulally had built his own reputation as an engineer at Boeing, where he ran the company's commercial airplane division, the planes we all fly on. He turned that around even in the face of strong competition from Europe's Airbus. Now, Ford took its hits early and it borrowed heavily, allowing it to escape the bankruptcy that befell General Motors and Chrysler, and allowing Ford to avoid taking any government money. It also helped Ford weather the high gas prices and the lack of credit that sent car buyers ducking for cover, certainly not buying new cars. But it steadily built its global sales on the backs of cars that have been popular with critics and with buyers, and today Ford reported record third-quarter earnings of $1.7 billion. That's the most that company has ever reported in a third quarter. Ford does continue to pay back the billions of dollars it borrowed to stay afloat, not by the government, by the way. That was private money that it borrowed. And its North American business is still seeing some of the effects of a weak economy, but there are signs of growth all around. Ford Credit was singled out for helping produce some of those record profits. Alan Mulally, familiar face to all of us. He's the president and CEO of Ford. He is in Detroit now. He joins me now for another of our regular conversations. Alan has been out in front of this thing, and we appreciate that, Alan, because I think a lot of people were very, very concerned, even as late as a year ago, Alan, that the auto companies were still in big trouble. Ford was reporting profits a year ago, but the company's doing well in spite of some changes. What have you learned, and what's different about Ford today?
Well, I think you really have captured a large portion of it, Ali, and it started clearly with the decisions that we made nearly 4 years ago when I chose to come to Ford. And of course, the big decision was the focus on the Ford brand and divest the other ones. The next decision was a full family of vehicles in all the markets in which we serve, starting with the United States. The next one was that every new vehicle from Ford would be best in class in quality and fuel efficiency, safety, and really smart design. And also the fourth one was to use all of our resources worldwide to bring all this intellectual capability to the customer. And that's why we're seeing the progress we're making today.
Well, let's talk about you've been saying this about Ford quality and being best in class. Now, one of the problems that you have had, and the same as GM and the same as Chrysler, is that certain car buyers walked away from the American car companies years ago. They didn't like the design. They didn't like the quality. You have brought that up, and I hear you always telling people to try it out. One of the times that you and I talked, we were with every Ford model you could find, and you wanted to drive them, and you wanted to prove to me that they were good to drive. How have you done in convincing other people who walked away and went to Honda and went to Nissan and went to Toyota to come back and try Fords and that they're competitive and good cars to drive?
Well, this is clearly a very important part of our plan, Ali, as you have mentioned, because of our cost structure, we could not make small and medium-sized cars in the United States and actually make them profitably. So we went to work with all the stakeholders, including the UAW. We have a transformation agreement now where we can make cars in the United States and compete with the best in the world. And now you're seeing the results of that, because all of those fabulous Ford vehicles that people know and love around the world, we're bringing those all now to the United States. So now the U.S. customers have access to this fabulous family of vehicles, small, medium, and large, cars, utilities, and trucks. And as you pointed out, every new vehicle is a proof point for Ford on its commitment to quality, the most fuel efficient in its class, of course, the most safe cars, most 5-star ratings, and also the very smart design like Sync and My Ford. So we've used every new vehicle as a proof point that have helped everybody understand that they've got great choices now with Ford. And we have, on the strength of the product line, we have picked up market share now for 2 consecutive years based on the strength of this product line. So it's very gratifying to see how the consumers really are coming back to Ford.